Will Timothy Liljegren still be a Maple Leaf next season? And what free agent forwards could be of interest to Brad Treliving and company? Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the Leafs. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun Maple Leafs writers Lance Hornby and Terry Cochan. And guys, we know the long list of UFAs the Maple Leafs must deal with this summer, but there are some RFAs that are looking for new contracts as well. And right at the top of the list is Timothy Liljegren, who is coming off a 2-year deal that paid him $1.4 million. And for another postseason, Terry, he was a healthy scratch at one point in the first round. When you look at Liljegren, he's clearly an NHL defenseman, and the Leafs don't have many right-handed shots under contract, but is he someone you'd be interested in bringing back, or have things run its course for the former first-round pick?
Well, we'll see. Brad Treliving's first order of business let's take Mitch Martin out of the equation, whatever happens there. His first order of business in the offseason is to improve the blue line. So if he's improving the blue line, it means he doesn't necessarily like what was there already. And Timothy Liljegren, we'll have to see. I don't know where he factors into their plans. Would I bring him back? I don't think it would be, the Leafs would be overly upset if he wasn't back. I mean, it could go to arbitration. You're probably looking at $3 million a year, I would think, in that range for him after he made 1.4 the last couple of years. Uh, can the Leafs get a better defenseman for that type of money? We'll have to see. But, if it's Brad Treliving's goal to reshape the blue line to the tune of 3 defensemen, which is what the word seems to be, and you've got Morgan Rielly, Jake McCabe, Simone Benoit, and Connor Timmins under contract, where does that leave a guy like Liljegren? We'll have to see. Yeah, he's a right-handed shot and everything. He is 25, and his best days could be ahead of him in the NHL, or he might have hit his ceiling already. We don't know. And I don't know that the Liljegren issue right now is really a priority for Brad Treliving and the Leafs guys. I think, the free agency is, and they can get the Liljegren at some point. It doesn't sound like there's been too much discussion between the two sides, but, if he's trying to improve the blue line as much as everyone thinks he is, where does that leave Liljegren? It could be on the outside looking in, but, I don't think that he's a guy that they look to right now necessarily to say, okay, he absolutely has to be a key part of this piece, a key piece of this part going forward.
I would say that he's often been viewed, I guess, as Rasmus Sandin's poor cousin, 2 first-round picks who've certainly had a chance to thrive. I know a lot of Leafs were probably just because I think Rasmus was more of a dressing room presence and hit a little harder. People have thought that Liljegren has lacked a little bit there, but the guy's had some bad luck too. Let's face it. I mean, he's been injured a couple of times. The fates haven't been kind to him. And further to Terry's point, if they think that if they're going to bring back Lyubushkin, for example, as one of their free agents, or Edmondson, that's even less of the pie for Timothy Liljegren. But at his best, I think he could help the team. It's just, and they do. As an RFA, the Leafs do control a lot of the situation, so they'll. I can't see him making a big stink at training camp and not signing or anything. But he's a good plan B. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I was going to say, as far as guys like Edmondson and Lyubushkin go, I don't see that. I mean, if like I said, if Treliving wants to remake the blue line, which he does, you can't re-sign all these guys because they're not remaking anything, right? And he's got 4 of them under contract already. I include Timmins there, but he'll likely be a 7th guy again. And we'll see whether Liljegren falls into that. Arbitration is probably going to happen, but again, we'll see. And I don't think, like I said, it's a front burner issue for them right now.
So the Maple Leafs currently have a shade under $19 million to spend this offseason, Lance. When you look at the roster, is there a bigger need in upgrading the centers or the wingers on this team? And if so, when it comes to those positions, what UFAs potentially intrigue you?
Well, you know what? There's been a huge, movement of the Leafs bottom 6 in and out. It seems to be they bring in new guys either to trade deadline and or at the start of the year and move them out. The latest being Connor Dewar, people like that. When they bring it in, they make a big splash with a guy with a guy such as a Ryan O'Reilly in that, and for whatever reason, or Foligno. So they've made their moves there. I think it's going to be an intriguing summer, if for no reason that you have a new coach in Berube. He's going to like some heavier players there. You look around and there's Reinhardt and Gunsel and people like that who are out there, but they're going to A, be costly, and B, a couple of them have no moves. And as shocking as it seems, people don't necessarily want to come to Toronto like you would think. You look at Foligno and O'Reilly for two were guys that looked like they would help in playoffs and then stay on, and they had other plans. And much to the chagrin of fans, not everybody wants to finish their career as a Leaf. So it may not be a July 1st right away. It may be somebody who circles back that we haven't heard of before, who fills in that role.
Well, the Leafs are kind of, the forwards, who knows really what they do in addition there. And of course, a lot of it comes down to the Mitch Marner situation and whether, he's part of it beyond this season. They're in a bit of a pickle, though, to be quite honest, at forward, because your priority, like you say, Rob, 18 and a half, 19 and a half million, whatever it is under the cap, the priority is defense. They need a goaltender of who has experience, and that guy won't necessarily come cheap. So at a forward, now you look at it, okay, the depth forwards. David Kampf is going to be at 2+ for the next several seasons. He's making way too much money for a fourth line center. A fourth line center should be $1 million tops, if not around the league minimum. So now to sign the third line guy, which is what they need, what are you looking at? 3 or 4 there? And is that a Max Domi? Is it somebody else? Like Lance said, what kind of player does Berube want? Domi obviously plays, not a big man, but he plays with that, heart and that bite that his dad had and put to use so well in the NHL. But, I don't know. Adding from the outside of the organization and forward, I don't know how far they go down that road. I think the bigger thing is for them is they're looking at guys like Matthew Knies and Bobby McMahon and say, okay, we need you guys to take your game to another level here for us. And hey, Easton Cowan, if you're really serious about this, there's a spot for you here. So I think it's going to be more of that. Now, having said that, there is mutual interest in bringing back both Tyler Bertuzzi and Max Domi. I talked to Bertuzzi's agent yesterday, Todd Reynolds. He said that interest is there. But whether it actually happens is another thing altogether when you've only got X amount of dollars to spend like Treliving does, and the priorities are defense and in goal. So I'm awfully curious how it all plays out. Obviously, if somehow they get out from under if the Mitch Marner is traded, there's $10 more million there, 11 more, I guess, but we'll have to see. That's a little further down the road, but I don't know. Like we've been saying, I think the priorities are on the blue line and in goal, and the forwards, you'll make do with what you have.
Yep, a lot of interesting decisions there with the money that the Maple Leafs have to spend. As always, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. For Lance Hornby and Terry Koshan and Rob Wong, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.